Hi, hello, it's Lillian. Welcome back to the Knits by Lillian podcast. Today we are talking about all of my favorite patterns for summer, but this edition, all the patterns are free. So I've created a bundle over on Ravelry with all the patterns we're talking about today. It's about 50-50 split between knit and crochet. I'm not a very advanced crocheter, so most of the crochet patterns are pretty beginner friendly. And we've even included one silly bonus pattern at the end. So stay tuned if that's something you want to see. If you want to just jump over to Ravelry, everything will be in the description box as always. Without further ado, let's crack into it. Okay, before we get too far in, and I forget about it, as I always do, the sweater I have on is the pullover version of the beachside cardigan that I am working on designing at the moment. So I'll have a test call out for the cardigan and the mock cable cardigan, hopefully in the next couple weeks. Me and my tech editor are still working on putting some final touches on those patterns, but at some point I'd love to do a cardigan and a pullover of the same pattern. So I'm hoping I can do a mock cable pullover as well. Did a V-neck on this one because the cardigan was a V-neck, and so I wanted to kind of mimic the same shape if the cardigan was going to be the same name pattern as the pullover. But that's the tea on that. Stay tuned. It'll be coming out shortly. Okay, so cracking into our patterns here. Excuse me if I'm not looking at the camera the full time. I have my little cheating iPad down here with all my pictures and notes to discuss. So the first free pattern we have is the Nostalgia Top by Auguste Knit. So this pattern is a size range of extra small to 4XL, chest circumference 28.5 inches to 48 inches, and that's with 4 inches-ish of negative ease. So it would fit up to like a 52, 54 inch bust. So not too bad of size range for a free pattern. It's designed using the Sandnesgarn Line yarn, which I've not used, but I've been meaning to use this yarn forever. People always recommend it as one of their like top summer yarns. So I think a free pattern would be a great place to start looking at that. And I really like this little scalloped detail on the bottom hem. I think it gives it really an interesting depth and dimension. I think there's a lot of free tank top patterns out there, so I tried to kind of scour around for ones that were a little bit more unique or had some sort of detail or shaping or design element that gave them a little bit more texture or just interest, you know? As much as I love, okay, wait, I can't say this because I'm working on designing a plain stockinette tank top. I do love a plain stockinette tank top, but there's a lot of good free patterns out there, and so I wanted to direct some more attention to smaller designers and ones that aren't as known about. If you're looking for just a plain old stockinette tank top, check out Jessie Made Designs, because she has, I think, somebody fact check me on this, but I think a few of her patterns are free. So if you're looking for that, check out her designs. And even if they're not free, her patterns are really well written, and so they're worth paying a little bit for. That's not what this video is about. So this pattern, back to the Nostalgia Top, it's only free for a limited time. It might be only free for the next couple days actually. So take that with a grain of salt. All right, so the next free pattern I have for us is the Floreale top by Amanita, Agata, Mackiewicz. This pattern, I'm obsessed with it. So it has this dual lace panel section down the back, and then it has a tie across the top of the back. And I think that is such an interesting construction. And it has kind of a wider boat neck type neckline. And so I love that they have the tie in the back, so you can kind of adjust that to as wide as you want. I love a neckline like that, but I always have a hard time styling them because I never know what to wear underneath it. This one, I don't think it's quite as wide as some of the ones that I've seen, but I really love a moment where you kind of, you know, this kind of silhouette, if it's a little bit wider, I don't want to stretch this out, but you have that big scoopinette kind of coming off one shoulder. I think that looks so elegant, but I can never figure out what I wear underneath it. And so the only time I ever really end up wearing silhouettes like that are as like a bathing suit beach cover up. So this one I think is a really nice in between, still pretty loose, still pretty open, but I would say very wearable. And it's a nice t-shirt that is stockinette all except the lace paneling. So I think if you haven't done much lace before, this could be a really good beginner lace intro project, because you just have those two panels, From what I can tell, they're the same too. So you just learn one lace repeat, little chunk down the back, and then stockinette on the rest. And the thing that I love about doing t-shirts and summer tanks is that I'm so used to knitting full long sleeve sweater garments that when I get through the body, I'm like, okay, now I have to, you know, slog through Sleeve Island. No, no, no. It's the summer. We don't need sleeves, shoulders out. So this I think would be pretty quick. I love it. I have no notes, perfection. Size range, sizes 1 through 9, chest circumference of 36 to 64 inches with 6.5 inches of positive ease. So also a really good size range for a free pattern. Love. Okay, so I know I said literally just 10 seconds ago that I wasn't gonna include basic stockinette tank top patterns, but I go back on my word. I'm human, sue me. So this one is a little bit different, it's a little bit special. It has optional ties at the top of the shoulders. So I think that's very interesting. I think it's a cute little moment. But I think if I was making it, I might do it without the ties. I really like them, but I don't like the way the bulk sits, and I try to knit things for multiple seasons, so I might skip them, but they look really cute, so I'm tempted. Either way, this is for chest circumference 29.5 to 47 inches. Sizes extra small through 2XL. So not quite as big of a size range, but still not bad for a free pattern. And that's with 0 to 3/4 of an inch of positive ease. So it's pretty much a 0 ease garment. So it's not too bad of a size range. I think that this would be such a versatile pattern. And I think that it's time for me to start wearing more bright colors. Brat summer, baby. I gotta get into the lime green. I gotta hop on the lime green train. So I think a garment like this would be a really good use of a fun, bright pop of yarn. Also, I kind of got nails to match this sweater color, and it kind of works. These are a little bit whiter. Anyway, side note, this has been my only foray into color recently. But lime green, or let me see if I can find a picture of like the exact shade of green I'm talking about. There's like kind of a bright limey yellow green that I feel like I've seen some of the like corporate outfit girlies on TikTok wearing, that I think it could be good. I see some people with my hair color wearing it, and it's giving me the confidence to think I could too. Anyway, I think that a simple pattern like this would be great for a bright colored yarn, or maybe a hand-dyed yarn. I don't know how to spin yarn. I'd love to learn, but maybe if you spin your own yarn, you could do this. I don't know. It's a pretty fine weight yarn, so I don't know how that would work with spinning, but this is one of those patterns where you can definitely make it your own. So check this one out. It's free. You got nothing to lose. Okay, this next pattern is such an interesting construction and stitch pattern. So this is the Hällevik blouse by Wool and Beyond. And it's a wrap, short sleeve shirt, cardigan situation, wrap top, but they have a matching skirt or shorts pattern that goes with it, and this set is so stunning. I feel like I've seen people this summer gravitating toward matching knit sets, and I think it's such a cute, chic, French Riviera-esque moment. So this stitch pattern is so interesting to me. I love the detailing. And so they have a 2-color stitch repeat throughout the whole pattern, and then what looks to be, I think the edge is an I-cord, and then it seamlessly looks like goes down into an I-cord tie. I think this is such a pretty pattern. They have an extra small to 4XL size range too, which is great for a free pattern. And the detail on the back, the sort of 2 raglan, I guess, increases, that looks so elegant to me. I love the way that it's worked into the stitch pattern. So I haven't done any of these patterns. These are all just ones that I have had in my Ravelry queue for a while. But this one might be one that I cast on immediately, because I haven't seen much like this. And I love when I find a pattern that looks original and doesn't look like every other thing you've ever seen knitted. Okay, also one more thing. I love when you see a knitting pattern where the fabric gives the illusion of not being knitted. Like, it doesn't look like stockinette or ribbing or something, and it looks almost like woven rug material. However they make rugs, that texture, I love it. Do you know what I mean? Like those jackets or pullovers or hoodies or whatever that look like they're made out of a rug, that texture, but in a different shaped garment. Burlap sack, but form-fitting. Okay, this whole set is so pretty. I really like the two together, and I love the asymmetrical aspect of the top and the bottom. I really only was planning on talking about the blouse, but the skirt is so cool, so maybe I'll have to make both. Kind of love these. Okay, so I'm so excited about this pattern. It's crochet. This is the point where I realized that I forgot to mention that I have both knit and crochet patterns in the lineup for today, because why not? The Scrappy Bucket Hat by Jess Coppom, OMG. So fun, so easy to knit, small project so it's portable for summer, wearable in summer. You can make it from anything you have in stash already, and it's free. Like, what's not to love? So this picture of her is so cute. I love the overalls and the t-shirt and the pop of color from the bucket hat. I'm a huge overalls girly, so I fully intend to make this bucket hat so that I can copy the entire outfit. But I think it's just such a fun idea. So I've seen quite a few knit and crochet bucket hats before, and for some reason the shape of this one is just better to me. And I think the difference is that there isn't a clean line or split between the hat and the brim. So times, oh, excuse me, I got a Dunkin' Donuts coffee yesterday, and I have the remnants of it today, and it has those little coffee ground particles in the bottom because, let's face it, Dunkin' Donuts is bad coffee. Like, it's good, I love it, I paid money for this. I would never recommend it to anyone, nor is it making my stomach feel good. What are we to do? Anyway, I think the main difference is that a lot of bucket hats, when they're made out of just regular fabric or canvas or whatever, the brim kind of sticks out vertically. So the hat, you know, is a little bit square-ish, and then the brim is very like at a 90-degree angle. This one is definitely not that. It's kind of more tapered. The whole thing is, it feels more like one unit and less like a piece sewed onto a piece. I don't know if I'm rambling or if this makes sense. Hopefully you're hanging with me. But if you have kids, I don't have kids, but I'm willing to have kids just so I can knit them a matching bucket hat. Can you imagine like a bucket hat for the family? So there's 4 sizes: toddler, child, adult, larger adult. So you could potentially, from yarn you have, make matching bucket hats for you, your significant other, and your little guys. Like, come on, should I knit one for my cat? Can you imagine? Just like 2 little holes in the top for the little cat ears. Okay, anyway, I think this pattern is so fun. I think if you don't know how to crochet very well, it could be a great intro project because it's just 1 stitch repeating and it's not very big. And if you're having a hard time matching your gauge, you could just knit a different size in the pattern. So if you have thicker yarn you want to use and you're willing to do a minimal amount of math, you could use the pattern for the child size or the toddler size to make a bigger hat. The world is your oyster. The world is your oyster when you're wearing a bucket hat. You know what they say. All right, so while we're talking about crochet, the next pattern we have is the Sagebrush Tank Top by Grace Forthefrills. This is also a crochet tank top, but I think it would be pretty easy to crochet. It's kind of meant to look like those chunky ribbed pullovers and tank tops and all of that. I think it might be emulating fisherman's rib. Let me zoom in. I think so. Either way, I really like the vertical ribbed look, and I feel like in crochet a lot of times you have more of a horizontal rib going on, so I really like this pattern for those reasons. They have size extra small to 3X in the pattern. And here's the part that makes it great. There's a free video tutorial. So if you don't know how to crochet or you don't know how to crochet well, this could be a great chance to learn because this pattern will literally walk you through every step to make this full garment. So I can't recommend this enough. I haven't knit it myself, or sorry, crocheted it myself, but I think it would be such a great starter project. And the gauge is on a, let's see, 4.5 millimeter hook, which is pretty big. I mean, it's medium, but think about it. If you're just doing a crop top or a shorter shirt and you're doing no sleeves, minimal finishing, this would be a quick project. So I'm thinking gift, I'm thinking make for a weekend trip. I think this is going to be a good one. And I think this would be another one that would look really cool in a bright color because it's got some texture, but the texture isn't overpowering. And I think that's what makes a good summer tank top, is it has enough texture to be interesting and to kind of hold its shape and its structure, but not so much that you're blown away by it. Because I think I like cables better on winter garments. There's something about a cabled, okay, let me back this up because literally the last video I made, I was wearing a cabled tank top, but those cables were really small. They were 2 stitches. So it felt much more like an all over textured stitch pattern rather than like big chunky cables. But I think when you're making a winter garment, like a big sweater or something, the size of the garment and the weight of the yarn can kind of take that much cabling. And I feel like summer garments pucker in weird ways when you have big cables. And so an all over textured pattern is more of what I gravitate towards, in my personal opinion. So I think this is a perfect textured amount. So free video tutorial, learn how to crochet. Should we do a knit along, a crochet along? That would be fun. All right, back to our knits. We have the Simple Summer Tank by Kaitlin Barthold. And I think this one is maybe my favorite out of the patterns that I've collected for today. The neckline, that's it. It's everything. The structure of the ribbed collar band, the angle between the collar arm band and the sleeve gap, the armhole, I love that so much. It's such a cool geometric piece. I think I might already have yarn that I want to do this in. I keep talking about a lime green though, and so now I'm thinking about this and like a bright yellowy lime green. I think that could be a big winner. But I think that this would be a good pattern to just have in a couple of colors. I could see this in like a cream or a white or a black. I would even go so far as to say that I could wear this with a jacket or a blazer to an office job. I don't have an office job. I work in healthcare, so I wear scrubs all day. I call them my work pajamas. So I don't really have to make outfits during the week, which is like a plus and a minus, right? I mean, it's nice to not have to stress about it and not pick it out, but also I never get to wear a fun outfit when I'm at work. So sometimes I look at patterns and I think, ooh, maybe if I ever have an office job, this would be one that I would make, or this would be one. And usually the ones that I think that about are like high neck, sleeveless or small cap sleeve shirts, because I know some offices don't allow a scandalous shoulder and all that. But I think that the ones that I see on other people that I like the most tend to be like a high neck, wide shoulder cut off, and then sort of tapered body, but maybe not fitted, tucked into like a wide leg pant. And I think this could be a summer version of that, because a high neck, even if it doesn't have sleeves, that's a lot of knitting to wear. And I know offices can sometimes be really cold, but maybe if you're too warm for a high neck, this could be a good alternative. And I love a square neckline, and I don't see them very much in knitting patterns, because a lot of people will do a round neck or a V-neck instead of a square, because this is a really hard structure to get to not sag down like this, right? So sometimes people will attempt to do a square neckline and it'll just kind of droop into a V-neck anyway. So I think this is a really good way to kind of keep that square going. And I almost want to do this and add sleeves, I think this would look really cool as a pullover too. Or there's two ways you could go with this, right? You could either size up or increase your gauge or something to get a size with a little bit more positive ease. Keep that square neckline shape, add sleeves, and almost like balloon the sleeves. So keep them a little bit wider and then kind of pinch them in at the end. Like, I think that would look really cool for a fall piece. Or you could do tight, decreased sleeves on the existing size of the pattern. Either like a 3/4 sleeve or a bracelet length sleeve, I think would look really cool. But yeah, I love this pattern. I think there's a lot of ways you could go with it, and that neckline, like, you can't go wrong. This one's a win. Also, I forgot if I said, but this one has, I think, the best size range of the ones that we've covered. The finished garment chest size is 28 to 60 inches, but with 0 to 4 inches of negative ease. So lots of size ranges on that. It's graded in the pattern as extra small through 5X. So there's quite a few sizes to choose from in between too, but big win. Okay, so here we have the Picot Bandana by the Turtle Trunk. And I think this pattern is so cute. I think knitting accessories in the summer is perfect because the last thing you want to be dragging around is an entire bag of yarn if you're trying to knit outside or at a cafe or at the beach. So this was my perfect on-the-go project. And I don't knit that many accessories, but I kind of want to get into it. And so I feel like summer is the time to do that. Summer plus free pattern equals we're getting a cute little hair scarf. And the detailing on this one is so cute. So I think a lot of little bandana hair scarves like this tend to have yarn over lace repeats, which I love, very cute, but they have holes in them. And my problem is that I've knitted a couple of them and I never wear them because I have curly hair. You can't really tell in this video, but generally my hair is down and it's curly and it's very puffy and round. And as soon as there is a touch of humidity, the curls will poke out through the holes in the top of the bandana and it looks goofy. Like, have you ever seen those videos where people are they're dyeing like highlights into their hair and they'll put foil down and like pull the pieces through and so they can only dye the top? Yeah, you get the picture. That's what it looks like. Not great, not chic, not cool at the farmer's market, okay? And that's what I knit all of my things in the summer to be, is to be cool at the farmer's market. So I think this one might be my solution. It has little baubles. I can't remember if I said it's crochet, but it's small. So I think this is another great beginner crochet pattern. And the little baubles look tamely sized, if that makes sense. Sometimes patterns with baubles give me the ick, just a little, because the baubles are so big that it kind of takes over the whole pattern, or it looks like they're falling off. These look very aptly sized for the size garment. So is it too much to say that this would look good lime green? Somebody needs to vibe check the amount of things that I'm trying to make lime green in the comment section. A little too much, just right. I think the color they did would look good on pretty much every hair color. But you can't go wrong with like an off-white. That would look really good, especially if you have maybe like red hair. A yellow might be iffy. But oh, in the fall, if you have red hair and you did like an emerald green, that would look so cool. Or, I'm not in college anymore, but my college colors were red, because everybody is. And I think a red hair scarf like this would be so cute. If you have to go to like a college event and they tell you to wear team colors or whatever, that could be fun. Okay, so I really went down a rabbit hole of looking at crochet patterns in addition to knitting ones, because typically I don't delve too much into that side of Ravelry, but I found a couple of cardigans that I really want to crochet. The first one, actually, let me restate. The only one I'm going to include here is called the Mezzo cardigan. It's also by Jess Coppom. She's the one who did the Scrappy Bucket Hat that I'm obsessed with. So naturally, I had to look through everything she's ever designed, and I found this cardigan. So it looks like It's a pretty open, loose stitch pattern, which is perfect for summer, again, especially if you're going somewhere where you need to have your shoulders or your arms covered, but you don't want to sweat. Here you go. And I think that, so it says the pattern is available for $7.50, but it's also available for free, so don't let that trip you out if you look at it on Ravelry. It's on a 6mm hook, which is pretty open gauge, pretty big gauge. So I think this would, for how big of an oversized garment it is, I think it would be pretty quick. The size range is small to 4XL. So quite a variety of sizes there, which is also great for a free pattern. The bust sizing or the chest sizing is 37 inches to 61 inches. Sorry, that is the size that it's designed to fit. So the actual sizing of the cardigan might be a little bit different. But either way, we have a decent size range there, great for a free pattern. I think this is another one that would look cool in a bright color because the texture is pretty consistent throughout. So I think it would be really fun to do maybe like a red or a burnt orange. I think if you did a burnt orange, it could be a really good transitional piece from like the end of summer into the beginning of fall. Or maybe like a deep mustard yellow would look really pretty. Either way, this is another pattern that I think I'm gonna have to do too. It's listed as skill level intermediate. And my theory is that I do the bucket hat first, right? I get some confidence, I get some gauge, and then we move right into a crochet cardigan while I have that confidence. So stay with me, we'll see if that happens, but I really like this pattern. All right, so this last pattern, I'm the most excited about this guy. It's a pattern to knit your own shrimp. Like, are you kidding? Knit a shrimp? Sign me up. So from what I can tell is it's one size in the pattern, one shrimp gauge. And then you can make your shrimp however big or however small by changing that out. So they've got two sizes that they did in the pictures on Ravelry. And I think that the idea is that you like fill it with catnip and give it to your cat. So maybe I'll do that. But I just think it's so funny. And I wonder if, here's my question. Can I make a shrimp that's small enough to put it on an earring? Because a couple weeks ago, I got shrimp earrings and they're metal, but now I want a yarn shrimp earring. Like, would that not be so funny? So tell me, also consider, you're just watching this idea come to me in real time. For Valentine's Day, I used to work at a yarn shop and we knitted a bunch of little hearts and strung them together on a garland to hang up. What if we knitted a bunch of shrimp and made a shrimp garland? What holiday says, please decorate for me with a shrimp garland? I think I'm gonna have to do this. I thought this pattern was so funny, so I just wanted to include it because I feel like we're on the same wavelength. You know, a lot of people said that they were really interested in me doing a lobster sweater, so I feel like that was dipping your toe into knitting weird things with Lillian, and now we've moved on to knitting really weird things with Lillian, like stuffed shrimp. So thanks so much for watching. If you've made it this far, you're a real one. I'll send you a knitted shrimp. But comment down below any other videos you'd like to see. As always, I had a blast making this, and I'll see you next time, hopefully with a background of a little shrimp garland action. We'll see. See you next time.